Good evening. I'm Pastor Anthony Langley from East Newnan Baptist Church. Let's pray. Father, thank you so much for the time that we have tonight together. We pray, God, that you'll just bless this meeting. I pray that you'll bless everyone here. Pray that you'll be with the mayor and these council members as they make decisions that impact our community. Pray, God, that there are decisions that not only honor you, but uplift our community. We submit this time to you. In the name of Jesus, we ask it. Amen.
Amen.
All right, with that, we go into the reading of the minutes. Is there any objection to adopting the minutes as presented? Are there any corrections or?
No objections from me.
All right, seeing none. Going once, going twice. Minutes are so adopted. Reports of boards and commissions.
We have a motion and a second to do that.
To adopt the minutes, we don't. We're fine. For the.
We've been doing that, though.
We're adopting the minutes. The minutes are adopted. Thank you. That's unanimous consent with no objection. Move into the appointment for the Trees and Parks Commission. The Christmas and Development Commissions have been moved to next agenda. Trees and Parks Commission. We have
next meeting.
Move to next meeting. With that, we move into report on operations by the city manager.
Can I just ask a question? I just want that whole thing with skipping over something. We approved the minutes from last meeting, and we approved. When did we approve the agenda, or what? What did you just do with all that?
We just adopted the minutes by unanimous consent.
So I got to ask, why the change in? We've always adopted make a motion to adopt the minutes, but why the sudden change? That just a little bit.
Well, then I'll invite a motion in a second if it's y'all
I
would prefer.
prefer it that way, yeah.
Okay, then the motion is yours, Councilman.
I'll make that motion to
Do we have a
adopt the
second?
minutes.
Second.
Any opposed, or all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, passed unanimously.
Thank you. I just need that clarification.
Yeah, totally fine.
It seemed like we skipped something.
No, you're good. With that, we move into reports on operations by city manager. Mr. Phillips, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I don't have much as we move into the summer months, though. I do want to remind everybody that we're transitioning into our one meeting a month. We only have one meeting in June and one meeting in July, so I think it was important to, even though we've adopted that schedule resolution, I think it's important to make a public announcement. We only have one meeting in the following 2 months, so thank you.
Great. Thank you, city manager. Reports and communications from the mayor. First off, thanks to everybody for turning out for early voting and for election day this past time. We have a number of runoff elections. I would encourage everyone to turn out to those as you are able. Turnout is important, but other than that, nothing from me. So moving into new business. Item E, we have consideration of a contract award for professional consulting services for disaster recovery and FEMA public assistance.
Yes.
Mr. Craver, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you, sir. Mayor, members of the council, these next three agenda items are very similar. They're what we call pre-event contracts. In the case that we would have a catastrophic event similar to what happened maybe in 2021 or an ice storm or a hurricane, whatever that may be, we would like to get your permission to go under contract for certain services with a firm in the case that we need them. Of course, we take them at the council's pleasure one by one. The first is, let me get my agenda, is it debris? I lost my agenda moving up here. Okay, thank you, sir. For disaster recovery and FEMA public assistance, this is unique only for time in which we would be seeking public assistance or funding from FEMA and reimbursement for FEMA. So in the event that there's a storm, an ice storm or another storm that wouldn't involve public assistance or FEMA support, we wouldn't exercise this contract. But in the case that there was, enabling staff to do their job, and other contractors to do their job, it's recommended by staff that we engage a firm to do this work. Firms, and there you can see the firms that replied to the solicitation listed in the agenda in front of you. This is their specialty. This is what they do. They understand this. And so the staff is recommending, after going through an exhaustive review and scoring of which is in your packet, that we engage Goodwin Mills Kaywood. Not only they're a firm we're used to, we have a relationship with, we trust them. They did the work for us previously in response to the 2021 tornado, but they come highly acclaimed, and as you can see in here, they're received the highest scores from the 3 staff members that scored them.
Mr. Craver, I could
Yes,
ask
sir.
a question. Just the cost for as needed. If there's no need for their services, how much is that going to cost
Zero.
annually? All right,
Zero.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion, we award the contract to Goodwin Mills and Kaywood, to provide professional consulting services for disaster recovery and FEMA public assistance.
Second.
Well, just before we get into the second, is there any further discussion from council?
Excuse me, I just made a motion.
But we're moving into discussion first, and then we'll do the motion. But is there any further discussion? Seeing none, you have your motion. Who's second?
Already had a second.
Second.
Councilman Gillum, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, carries unanimously.
Typically, according to Robert's Rules of Order, a motion is made, it's seconded, and then there's discussion. Okay,
Councilman,
so I just want to state, that's what Robert's Rules of Order says.
I would point to section 49 of Robert's Rules, but I'm happy to discuss after the meeting.
And that's the way we've been doing it for a long time.
Well, it's a new day. Moving into item F, consideration of a contract award for debris removal services.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Craver, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Yes, Mayor, members of the council, this is similar. Councilman Carrico, these are services we only engage in the event in which there's a need for them. There's zero money allocated towards it. Now this, I want to point out, for debris removal is to take debris off the streets, off the public rights of way, remove it, place it somewhere else. But this can be used for disasters that are not FEMA related as well. So if we had an ice storm in town and it was created so much damage that our public works staff couldn't handle it alone, we could engage this firm here and they could come in and support debris removal. So I just wanted that clarification there. This isn't the first contract, what you guys just looked at and approved was for FEMA related reimbursement. This is for any storm response to remove debris. And again, the staff, we had a 3-person committee that went through and scored them. And Southern Disaster Recovery scored the highest. And just so you do understand, if you go to the table in your packet, the way that the pricing on this, if engaged, looks is you look to the top line price, which is the amount per cubic yard. That's to collect it and remove it. But then that's not where the debris stops. When these firms pick it up, they take it, we then have to manage it. What do we do with it? Do we mulch it? Do we keep it here? Do we take it somewhere else? So the real price, if you will, is you look at 1A and you add 5 to that. So row 5 and 1A together is your real all-in cost. So the top line cost is just to get it off the curb. But once we take it off the curb, we've got to do something with it. So that additional fee in row 5, you have to add that to 1A to get your total cost to get debris off public rights of way and managed successfully. So SDR was low here, and ironically, we have had experience with them. They were here during the tornado response. So the recommendation from staff and the panelists is to engage Southern Disaster Recovery for this pre-event contract.
All right. Without any discussion from council.
I do have a question. So thank you for letting us know there's no cost with this unless utilized. And this is only but for all federally declared natural disasters. If they're local natural disaster that's not federally declared, it won't cover that.
No, we can use them, yes, sir, for any disaster that we see fit. Probably have to be decently significant in order for it to get above and beyond what our local public works, our department can handle, but we could use them for non-FEMA declared.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And again, the cost of this, if unused, is? 0. Okay, thank you. I'd like to make a motion that we accept staff's recommendation to award the contract to the Southern Disaster Recovery and Debris Removal Services.
Second.
Before we go to the vote, any further discussion? Seeing none, and the motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, passes unanimously. Moving to consideration of a contract award for debris monitoring, disaster recovery, and emergency planning services.
Yes, sir. Back again. Thank you. This is the last of the pre-event contracts that are in front of you today. This is for debris monitoring. So when the debris is picked up off the public rights of way and placed into the trucks, and then before it leaves, you have monitors that look at it. She or he looks in, and either by volume or by weight, they monitor. So when we're seeking reimbursement, we know exactly how much, or volume-wise, or how much it weighs. So we'll have monitors on. And so we have, again, gone through the same process, received proposals from different firms, but Goodwin Mills Kaywood, a firm we are we have a relationship with and worked with in the past is also low here. And so the recommendation from staff is to engage Goodwin Mills Kaywood for debris monitoring.
Thank you, Mr. Craver. Any
Yes, sir.
discussion from council?
I do. I got a couple questions. We're comprehensively going through and getting these contracts done because we've done this before. Now, were we able to add in things that we found that we were missing from our previous dealings with them? So, for instance, we had debris that we had so much of that we took to our, I'm trying to remember the site that, you remember the big site that we took, and they looked like
Yes, ma'am.
little bitty Tonka trucks because
That's
it was
right.
so
Yeah.
much debris. Do we have backup for, is that considered in this? Will they take this off somewhere else if we don't have room for, have we thought through those kinds of
Right,
things in
and
these
so
contracts?
as part of the process, we will have to name a location that we can take debris. Luckily, we have our partners with Newnan Utilities who have the composting facility with plenty of space, and so I think that's what you were speaking
Yes,
of earlier.
that's
Yes, ma'am.
exactly where it was.
And so we were able to partner with them and use that area. That's a logical place should we ever face the same challenge again. But part of this process is naming a location to take debris. These contracts won't speak to that, but the professionals will help us with that. And so we do some planning ahead of time. You've seen there's some planning services in there. They help us come through and look at, say, in the case that you have a flood, let's say, for instance, where would you take debris? How would you manage this? And so it's not only the debris monitoring, but there's planning involved in some of that if we were to engage them. But those are things we also routinely do through public safety and our EMA partners, Coweta County. We do tabletop exercises. We look through these things. But when the storm, if a storm were to come, part of the response would be naming a location where we would take debris. So.
Yeah, and I can add to that, Robert Ramsey with GMC is here, and where it does say disaster recovery and emergency planning services, we have used that component of this contract. For example, when we were in the storm response, we realized we had no backup power. We realized we had no power at the fire stations. So we have used Robert and his company to write successful grants for us under this particular contract to get those awarded. So we have been able to identify a few missing components and utilize their services to try to address those.
Thank you.
If I could, were you finished?
Yeah.
Where is GMC? Where are they actually located at or headquartered based
They
out
have
of?
offices throughout the southeast, but they have offices in Atlanta. I think there's one in Carrollton. Is that correct? Yes, sir.
So-
they're pretty
Close enough to be responsive.
Oh, yes, sir.
In a
Yep.
catastrophe.
I live in LaGrange, actually.
Thank you. There's no annual cost for this, also beyond just federal declared disasters. And in regards to all three of these contracts, how many years are these? Just one year at a
They're-
time, or is it multiple years?
No, they're 3 years with additionals that you can put on three
So-
additional singles after that. So I think you'd be in total 6 if you were to exercise them.
All right, great. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion from council? Seeing none, I invite a motion to approve the contract
Moved.
award for copier equipment lease for a contract award for debris monitoring, disaster recovery, and emergency planning services. So moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, carries unanimously. Moving on to item H, consideration of a contract award for copier equipment lease and managed print services.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Brian Lee, IT Director, and I'm before you today seeking approval to enter into a contract with Superior Document Solutions to provide us with copier and managed print services to support those copiers. At the end of March, we issued a request for proposal, and we received an overwhelming response to that proposal. To that request, we received 12 proposals from 11 separate vendors. And each of those proposals was analyzed and graded individually by each member of the selection committee. And upon coming back together with the committee, the proposal from Superior Document Solution was a unanimous high score for all the proposals. So I'm happy to field any questions if anybody has any.
One quick question, Mr. Sears, have you reviewed this is this something you would have reviewed, or?
I haven't seen it until I
Okay.
got the agenda.
Totally fine. I wasn't sure if we had that, because one question I had is, right now, the contract stipulates that we are submitting to jurisdiction in Pennsylvania. I would rather that we didn't. We're also waiving a jury trial, so could you speak to that?
Well, this has gotten to be a little bit of an issue. That's always a recommendation from our office, to go back to them, to get them to change it to Georgia, and not waive the jury trial. Unfortunately, we have found that some of those companies say, go find another, supplier. And in that particular instance, we have to make a decision as to whether or not to go to the second bidder or the third bidder. So I'm not familiar with this company, and I saw that in the thing, and I was going to ask that question.
Great.
But, this is, it's a problematic thing, that we have to do. Fortunately, it has not bitten us, since we, on those that will not wait. Now, a lot of the companies will, but some of these national companies will not.
Thank you.
Could I ask a question?
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of some ambiguity. I saw Superior, that based out of Duluth, Georgia, and then I see, the lease agreement is based out of Missouri. I'm just kind of curious how Pennsylvania gets tied into this whole thing. It just seems very, very odd.
Yeah, I think that's a valid question.
Yeah.
And I would maybe recommend that we approve this on the contingency that we change from Pennsylvania to Georgia as that venue, and ask for the waiver of jury trial to be struck. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I invite a motion
Wait,
on.
wait, wait,
Oh, sorry.
I just have a question. Are we saying as council, per this particular contract, that you gotta be local? Is that the message we're sending to the public? That's what I wanna know.
I don't think so. I would say it's
I mean,
not, the question is just whether we want to consent to jurisdiction in a different state for this kind of procedure.
That's the same message, though. So if you're in Georgia, it's okay, but if you're outside of Georgia, it's not. That's the message we're sending. That's what I feel. That's what I'm seeing. If I'm wrong, somebody help me, correct me, but that's what I sense. If I'm outside of the state of Georgia, if I'm out of the parameters of the city, et cetera, because we've had this discussion, I think it was a couple weeks ago with a paving company.
Yes, sir.
So I don't want to get into
that
that stuff where
Yeah.
we're having all this
Right.
issues.
I think what the mayor spoke to and what Mr. Sears has spoken to is in the case that there's a challenge between us and the contractor,
Right.
they try to stipulate in the lease where that case will be heard. And we want it to be heard in Georgia. And preferably
All right,
here.
then
And
that's
that's what
my-
they're talking about, so that we don't go to court. If we argue with this contractor, we're not going to court in Pennsylvania. We're
All
doing
right.
it here.
All right, close it up. All right, so I misunderstood.
Yep, no worries.
So do we want to ask for Coweta County then? Start with what's simple for us? Okay, not just Georgia? Okay.
All right, any further discussion? All right, seeing none, with that, I invite a motion on the consideration of a contract award for copier equipment lease and managed print services with the caveat that we stipulate they change the jurisdiction to Georgia, and ask about also removing the jury waiver from the contract. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none opposed, that carries unanimously. Moving into consideration of a road closure for the link section 13 and roadway paving.
Yes. Mayor, members of the council, I'm here at the request of our contractor, Has Been Construction, and the city's team that you guys consider closing. As you can see on the image here, what's likely included in your packet, a portion of Cougar Way between LaGrange Street and Sewell Road to allow for the timely construction of link facilities. What we're trying to do is hit a hard deadline to try and get as much work, if not all of this work, done around Newnan High School prior to the school starting back in first week of August. I believe August 6th is their first day. So what the contractor has asked for and we're supportive of is the month of June and the month of July, having the roadway closed. However, if we can beat that timeline, we open the roadway back up. There's some decent coordination between not only building the link, but also our roadway paver who has to come in almost concurrently or right thereafter and pave roadway there. We have Atlanta Gas Light has to move a line out of there and off, out of the roadway off to the side of the road. So there's a lot of coordination there. And we believe that there's a logical detour to get around from the water plant, down Sewell, up Armory, back onto LaGrange, back and forth there. One question that was asked earlier is, are the fireworks for the 4th of July going to occur here? Yes, these fireworks will occur here. We still believe we can handle the circulation through there without this roadway if it, in the case it's not open by that point. I can answer any questions you may have.
That is any discussion from council.
I had a question. I know there's those 3 residences there.
Yes, sir.
The whole road's gonna be blocked off. We're gonna allow them access.
Yes, sir. They'll have unfettered access, and I hand-delivered a note to every single resident, not only those 3, but all that are in the side street behind it. And the one who I didn't want to go down the driveway, I found the phone number and got in touch with them to make them aware of it.
So they are actually aware of it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now, I didn't read it, the letter with them, but each one of them received a letter from myself with this map and other maps, phone numbers, information. If they were to have a problem or a question, they can call me.
Okay, and the contractor will take care of them getting in and out?
Yes, sir.
Appropriately?
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
And Newnan High is making adjustments for its summer activities.
Yes, ma'am. They have SATs coming up June 6th, but they're all going to pivot to Armory. They have some camps the end of this week, part of the teacher workday stuff. They're going to pivot off there too, but this roadway won't be closed again until the beginning of June. And if you go out there now, you see the contractors are mobilized. We've actually started some work. Our friends at Newnan Utilities started doing some sewer work out there. We've got some underground boring going on to take the electric lines underground so we can have lights. So project's underway. It's exciting, and we don't typically ask for this kind of roadway closure, but we really want to try and hit that deadline if we can to get out of there before school starts in August.
Are they gonna wait till June 1st, or can they start like right now, like, other than the weather?
There's still teacher work days right now. That's why we kind of waited for the June date to allow the school to be fully vacated. At that time, there's still teachers on campus, some administrators, and some of those camps that they'll run during that time.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure that there's, ample opportunity
sir.
for the weather,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
those years.
Yeah.
All right, any further discussion from council? Seeing none, I invite a motion on to approve the road closure for Link Section 13 and roadway paving.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, carries unanimously. Move into consideration of the First Amendment of an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Newnan, Coweta County, and Tax Commissioner regarding property tax collections.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, this is a First Amendment to an existing agreement that we have, as stated. I would like to note that the price is not changing. The only thing that is changing is in the last sentence of the compensation line, where it says, "The monies paid by the city to the county shall be used to pay the local supplement for the tax commissioner in accordance with the county's resolution that establishes constitutional officer and elected official salary supplements." So what we're paying is not changing, just a clarification on how the county is utilizing the funds.
Great. And just to be clear, is this the same? I mean, this is the same as it's always been, it's the same as it is with other municipalities and,
That is correct.
Right.
We all have the same rate.
very good. Any discussion from council? Seeing none, I invite a motion to approve the First Amendment of an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Newnan, Coweta County, and the Tax Commissioner regarding property tax collections. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, carries unanimously. We move into consideration of surplus property declaration and disposition of capital assets and controlled assets.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Attached to your agenda materials are a list of some equipment and vehicles that we would like to declare surplus, and we need your authorization to do that. There are a number of police department vehicles listed there, and a number of lawnmowers as well. If you look and peruse through the list, be glad to answer any questions that you might have.
With that, discussion from council. Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the grant, or to approve the surplus property declaration and disposition of capital assets and controlled assets?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
That, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, carries unanimously. We now move into consideration of the grant of an easement to Georgia Power for Coweta County Water and Sewerage Authority. Mr. Phillips?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Jeff Phillips with Newnan Utilities. And what we're asking for this evening is an easement to allow the construction of a power line from an existing substation on Poplar Road over to the Coweta County sewer treatment plant. It's to support an expansion at that plant. And this is the shortest path, the least impactful for any of the property owners. It only impacts our property for a strip about 30 feet wide by 700 feet long. And then the line enters the county's property and goes down to their plant. So we're asking for your approval of that easement, and we accept all the conditions of the easement.
Great. With that, we move into any discussion from council.
Is the compensation, as I'm reading it, correct?
That is correct. Yes, ma'am.
That's it?
That is it.
And that's a one-time or annual?
That's one time.
Are we set?
Well, this is all in the floodplain too, right?
It is in the floodplain. It's 0.4 acres.
4 acres, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right, any further discussion? All right, seeing none, I invite a motion to approve the grant of an easement to Georgia Power for Coweta County Water and Sewerage Authority. Do I have that motion?
Make a motion that we,
Could we add to that motion
Oh.
with payment to be made to Newnan Water and Light?
Absolutely.
That way it takes it out of going through the city's books and back to Water and Light. All of these, land acquisitions and all, while they're in the city of Newnan's name, they were paid for by ratepayer money, not tax money. So in this particular case, the money would go back to subsidize the ratepayers as opposed to the taxpayers. And that just makes it cleaner if the payment goes directly to them and not having to go through the city's books and bid for this.
Great. So do we have a motion to accept the grant of easement with that additional term?
I make a motion that we approve the grant of easement with the
Second.
$3,000 payment going directly to the city, to the new utilities.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, carries unanimously. Moving to item M, the request to self-perform renovations to the Police Department Firearms Training Facility.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, a little bit of an unusual request, but one that I'm actually excited to make. I don't know how many of you have had the opportunity to visit our firearms training facility down on Corinth Road. If you haven't, I'd love to take you there sometime and show you what we're talking about. Cynthia's smiling. As you know, the facility has served its purpose, but it certainly is aging. Has some issues, and we've allocated $1.1 million in our 2025 SPLOS program to renovate the facility. Staff has engaged a consulting firm to do a concept for us, so we took the concept and started pricing, and the first concept price was over $4 million. We're like, well, we can't do that, and I just don't see us justifying $4 million for the firearms training facility in that particular location. So we went back to the drawing board and we reduced some scope, got another estimate from another contractor, and we were still well into the $3 million. So staff got together and started scratching our head and said, this is not an overly complicated project. We believe we're very capable of self-performing. So that's going to be the request. We would like to self-perform, and by self-performing, we see the public works crew doing the demo, the storm, the pad-ready grading. We'll have a designer do a pre-engineered metal building structure, have an erector install that. turn that over to, in being enclosed, turn that over to the city, and we can perform the interior finish outs. Chief and his team will be coordinating for the lane improvements. We haven't done a full takeoff analysis, but we believe we can get really close to that $1.1 million budget. And the move that this body made to amend the purchasing policy is really going to help. We have the right to self-perform under Georgia procurement law. You just got to bid anything that's over that $250,000 threshold. We think there may be one or two packages, such as the pre-engineered building, that would be over that threshold. So we think we'll be able to quote most of the trades and to deliver the project. So again, it's a kind of an unusual request, but one I think that we can utilize and save our taxpayers, a substantial amount of money, upwards of $1 million, $1.5 million.
Right. It's good. Any discussion from council?
With the self-performing, we'll still be able to use the SPOS money to pay for all this.
Oh, it's still capital. We would
The
still
capital.
capitalize
Great.
the project, correct.
So there's no general funds, nothing else.
No.
Great.
Any further discussion?
No, I think this is a good move. I mean, it's not that big of a building.
No, it's not.
It's not gonna take that much to do this. Oh, yeah,
And it's a lot of money to save.
It's quite a bit.
it's a whole lot.
All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the
I'll make
request to
that motion.
self-perform the renovations to the Police Department Firearms Training Facility? We have a motion.
Second.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries unanimously. We have no unfinished business, no visitors' petitions. We do not have anything for executive session, so do we have a motion to adjourn?
Well, at first, Mr. Mayor, if I could, from a comment from council, our neighborhood is going to be, would like to, and we'll send an email to staff, but the folks on my section in my neighborhood have asked about shutting down our road for Independence Day festivities, probably on July 3rd. But we just kind of throwing that out there as a ahead time before we see it in June. I know we've done that previously, but just to let everybody know.
All right, any further, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion to
Do we
adjourn.
have a
Second.
second? Any opposed to adjourning? Seeing none, we are